The age-old question I constantly get: how often should you be posting on Instagram Reels to see growth? Well, in this video, I'm gonna teach you that, and I'm also gonna teach you how to create consistent content and when you should be posting. So if that sounds like something you want answers to, then stick around because I'm gonna show you how it's done. Hey guys, so welcome back. I'm your host, Morilla, and this YouTube channel is for entrepreneurs who are looking to grow their social media following. I'm excited to dive in today because we're gonna be talking about when is a good time for you to post on Instagram. Now, before we dive in, I wanna make sure you hit that subscribe button and you give me a thumbs up if you're excited to learn more about this, because we're gonna dive into not only how many times you should be posting, but when's a good time to post and how to create consistent content and how to repurpose content too. Because you guys, I mean, let's be real, not everybody can create a lot of content, and repurposing content is extremely important, especially if you're doing Reels. If you're not doing Reels, you should be doing Reels. Obviously, that's why you're watching this video. But anyways, I digress. And I wanna let you guys know that this video is sponsored by my course, my Cash and Clients Academy. It is now open for enrollment. My Cash and Clients Academy is an online business program where I teach you how to create an influential and impactful online business. I walk you through what it takes to build a brand and create your core messaging and your unique product to then take it to market. There are about 6 module trainings in this program, plus bonuses. We also have monthly group coaching calls where you get to ask me all your dying questions and anything that comes up when you're starting your online business. And you have exclusive perks to my private Facebook group of 500 plus members inside this program. Okay guys, so let's get into it because the answer isn't as obvious as you think. Okay, so let me answer that very first question. How often should you be posting Instagram Reels on Instagram to see growth? The answer is as consistently as possible. Seriously, like just plain right out, consistently as possible. Now, before you X out of this video, give me a second here. Let me dive in and explain to you guys what I actually mean by this. And remember, you're gonna be able to walk away with some solid actionable steps that you can take that is going to be reasonable for you and your business. So make sure you stick around to the very end. Now, when I say as consistent as possible, I mean anywhere between 3 to 5 times a week. And you're probably like, Jen, nobody has time for that shit. Yeah, like I totally get it, guys. Like, you know, to be honest, I barely have time for that. But that is the ultimate goal, is that you want to be posting as many Reels as possible. And the reason being is because the more often you post, the likelier Instagram will feature your Reels. And when I say feature, I mean put it in the search section, which is the most important section you want to be on when you create Reels. You want people to be scrolling through that search section and see your Reel. That's like the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate dream. That's how you get viral, all that stuff. So let's be realistic. Not a lot of people can actually create content 3 to 5 times a week. So I'm gonna dive into teaching you how to do this. And let's start small. Let's start with a simple goal of like 1 to 2 times a week. Does that seem reasonable? Because I feel like that would be a lot more reasonable than 3 or 5 times a week, because God knows you need a life. So anyways, here I am. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a few tips that I have up my sleeve that I use so that you guys can learn how to pump out Reels like nobody's business. Okay, so tip number 1 is creating and batching content. Now, you've probably heard a lot of people talk about this, creating and batching content, and you're like, how do people do this? This requires a lot of discipline and a lot of planning. And while that might make you nervous, I promise that when you get the hang of this, it becomes so much easier. I remember when I first started and learning to create and batch content was like this mind-blowing thing, when in reality, it actually made my life a lot easier. So for example, this video that I'm creating right now for YouTube, I batch content at the end of the month, but I take the time to write down all my brainstorming ideas, and then I pick a specific day where I batch all of my content for the month ahead. And I usually do this not only for my YouTube videos, but also for my Reels. So the first thing you wanna do is make sure that you take time to start writing all of your ideas. I usually keep a space on my phone in my notes where I constantly write ideas, and then I take about, I wanna say every day when I'm scrolling through Instagram, I don't scroll unintentionally, I scroll with the purpose of trying to find content that is relatable to my ideal client and my business, and that I really like, that can really give me a different twist on the way I want to produce content. So what I do is I save the links of these videos, and then I put them in my notes, and I make little notes about the video and what I want to produce. And I usually do this throughout the entire month for 2 reasons. Number 1, it lets my creative juices consistently flow. that means that I'm not just like stopping and going and stopping and going. I am consistently being creative. It also really gets me excited about creating content for you guys, because that is my talent. That is what I love to do. I love to show up on camera. I love to be in Reels. I love to provide value. So when you're scrolling, have the intention of, oh, I want to create something is intentional, is educational, etc. Get what I mean? So that is one way that you can do it. Another way is just simply sitting down, like sitting your bum on a chair, being in front of a desk, and then writing down your ideas and planning out, okay, I'm gonna do 10 reels, or I'm gonna do 15 reels, and this is what it looks like. You wanna make sure that you do this separately from the day you create content, because it becomes extremely overwhelming. And then I'll pick another day where I just film, where I get all beautified and I show up on camera, right? The reason why I think this is also really important and really helpful is because it gives you a blueprint for creating content. When you know you have a plan, you're likelier to execute something. It's just how we are as humans. It's just how we work. So if you have an actual content blueprint of what you're gonna create and when you're gonna create it, you're likelier to show up. And again, it gives you that excitement to get prepared, like actually create legitimately good content. Okay, so that's my first tip. And I promise you guys, the moment you get a hang of it, it becomes so much easier. Like you just have to consistently try it, and don't get upset with yourselves if the first time you try to batch content, you're not really being consistent or you didn't get to film as much as you wanted to. I usually leave an entire day empty for creating content because I also have ADD, so I get distracted really easily. There's a squirrel. I'm joking. Obviously there's no squirrel in my apartment, but you know what I mean. I get distracted. Okay, so this leads me to tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 2 is really important when you actually post reels. All right, so the time you post reels is just as important as creating the consistency of them, because it's literally a make it or break it. You can either post a reel at exactly the perfect time that your audience is around, or you can post a reel when everyone is around and there's a buttload of content and then your content just gets shoved to the bottom. So really paying attention to when's a good time to post. So there's 2 ways you can do this. If you don't have a following, my recommendation is that you haven't been really posting a lot, my recommendation is that you go into your analytics and look and see what is the best time for you to post. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how this is actually done in your settings so that you can follow along. You have to make sure that you have a business account. If you do not have a business account on Instagram, then you won't be able to pull your analytics, but you can change your business account through your settings. So you're here on your profile page, you go directly to Insights, la-di-di-da, then you go to Total Followers, and you go to the bottom where it says Most Active Times. You click on the actual graph, it'll tell you the times. You can see which are most active. So in my case, in particularly, between 12 and 3 p.m. seems to be the sweet spot, right? So that's when I most likely want to be posting content. Another thing to consider is that you don't want to be posting content when nobody's watching, because then it just kind of gets lost in the ether of the internet or Instagram world. So really paying attention to your analytics is important. Okay, now the second way of doing this is testing. So what I mean is, let's say you have no following whatsoever and you haven't really been consistent with your posting. Commit to being consistent and watch and post at different times. You need about 30 days for your analytics report to be super accurate. So I really wouldn't go by 7-day accuracy. I would go for a complete 30 days and I would test it out. Think of your ideal client and what times they would ideally be on their phone. So for example, let's say you're a blogger and you're looking to post content, or you want to post the reel and your ideal client are females and maybe they work in corporate. So maybe you want to be posting during the times that they're commuting, because during business hours, they're going to be really busy. They might not be really paying attention when they're scrolling. So maybe you want to post super early in the morning or late in the evening around like 4 or 5 p.m.-ish. Make sense? Okay, this leads me to tip number 3. Okay, so tip number 3 is how to repurpose content. If you aren't already on TikTok, then this tip is irrelevant and you can probably leave now. But also, if you're not on TikTok, you should be, because you're missing a massive opportunity. And so what you want to do is you want to produce content for either or platform and then share it on whichever platform you're not sharing it on. In my case, I produce the majority of my content on Instagram and then I repurpose it on TikTok without the watermark. So let's pause for a second. I'm going to show you guys how to do that in this video here where I actually did a TikTok on it. to teach people how to remove the watermark. The reason being is because TikTok and Instagram don't really get along. So obviously Instagram will not promote what you promote on TikTok, right? So watch this video to learn how to remove the watermark from your videos if you're posting from TikTok to Instagram. Check it out. This is part 2 on how to upload your TikTok videos to Instagram without the watermark. Okay, so you wanna go to your TikTok profile, pick the video you wanna upload to IG, you wanna copy the link, and then you wanna go over to snaptik.app, drop the link in the box, upload the video. Once it uploads, you wanna go ahead and save it to your page. The reason why this is important is because you don't need to be doing the same things over and over. Like, we have lives and things that need to happen in our business. You don't need to be creating different content for different platforms. You can just repurpose them. Remember that your audience on TikTok and your audience on Instagram may or may not be similar, but because TikTok is really trying to grow their platform, they're trying to push as much content out to as many people as possible. So you're likelier to grow quicker on TikTok than you are on Instagram because Instagram is such a massive platform. So just remember that if you haven't been repurposing your content, it's a good way to start is now. So now once you've done that video on TikTok and you've now reposted it to Instagram or vice versa, remember, this is literally the most important thing, you guys, is your hashtag. The hashtag game is very different from both platforms. I have these videos here that you can check out for more information on how to use hashtags for both TikTok and Instagram, but it is very different on both platforms. So I recommend that you take a look at those videos so you know the difference and how to use them for each of the platforms. Cool. All right, you guys, well, that's what I have for you today. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor and give me a thumbs up, hit that notification, and don't forget to subscribe. Drop below, let me know what is your favorite tip for batching content and where do you find that you're struggling with, because, you know, sharing is caring, my friends. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. That's really bright. I think we can film like this. This is way better. It's less crazier. Okay. And then